What's up everybody, thanks for tuning in on today's car review. I'm your host Gabe, and today we're going to be looking at this 2019 Mazda MX-5, or as it likes to be called, the universal name, the Mazda Miata. A quick disclaimer, I'm not going to go over every single little detail that this car has. It has a bunch of them, but I'm just going to go over the key essentials. This is the owner of the car, Mike.
Hello people.
Mike has been on the channel before. Actually, my first car ever was with his 2016 Mustang GT S550, and ever since I met him, you know, we've kind of had like this frenemy relationship. And when he actually got the Mazda, I was a little bit disappointed. For me, it was kind of like a very devastating moment, but I wanted to really test drive this car and you know, get a feel for it. You know, what was the hype about? Why did he leave a Mustang GT and go to a Mazda? Most of the time it's the other way around. People get Miatas and then they go on to Mustangs, you know, the power ladder. So this is the 2019 MX-5 Mazda Miata. This is part of the 4th generation, the ND. This is actually called the ND2 because it kind of underwent a pretty massive refresh under the hood. So there's 3 trims for the Mazda MX-5. There's the Sport, the Club, and the GT. Now the GT and the Club kind of have like this weird interchanging going on, and I don't really know exactly how it works. You know, what does this car have?
Okay, so this car is it's an optioned out GT. So what we have is we have a GT with the GTS package. So what happens is when you get the Club, you get cloth seats, but in return you get the Bilstein struts, this front strut bar, the limited slip differential, which is the big must. But when you go with the Grand Touring, you lose the performance options, but you gain some safety and luxury. So in luxury you get the nice leather seats, and you also get the blind spot monitoring, the crosstown like traffic alerts. So you have a camera in the front that monitors where you're at in the road. It can brake if it senses emergency. It tells you when you're drifting off lane. What the GTS package does, it's a merge between the Club and the standard GT. It's an extra $1,500 on top of the GT price, which in my eyes, if you're looking for a daily with performance, this is must.
So some major changes that happened with the 2019 MX-5 as opposed to the 2018. It's I would say there's really just one big noticeable difference, and that's the power bump. This car has 181 crank horsepower, and the previous year actually only had 155. That was a pretty major upgrade for a lot of car enthusiasts, especially, you know, that Miatas are very low, very lightweight, especially this generation. The NDs, the NCs were you know, a lot heavier, almost 100 pounds heavier. So you know, it's good to see that brand new generation is actually staying true to the, you know, lightweight heritage. With it being a lot lighter and more power, that's pretty much a recipe for tickets and fun. So that's pretty much one of the most noticeable differences. Exterior wise, it's pretty much all the same. The front has like that crazy Ferrari Portofino Jaguar European look, and the back is completely F-type. There's no argument against that. That is an F-type. That is a Dollar Tree, Walmart, whatever budget brand you want to call it, that is an F-type. The entire profile of the car is really, really attractive. These black chrome 17-inch rims really give it that nice look. It really complements it very, very well. And the paint color, it's you know, what is it?
It's like a snowflake. So if you're looking at snow and you see like the shininess, the reflectivity of it, this paint matches that really well. But I think it's like snowflake pearl mica metallic.
That is a mouthful. So another noticeable difference, it's the placement of the camera. Some people say it's really, really horribly placed. It's really awkwardly placed. It's kind of like a big wart in the middle of someone's face. But I think it's okay. I mean, you know, it's whatever. And the quality of the camera is, you know, it's not necessarily the best.
The quality is really bad. And on like the camera on the outskirts of it, you can see like the outline of the white bumper. So you lose even like some angles, like just because of that. So now let's move on to the interior. This is actually one of my favorite parts of this car. I think the interior on the MX-5s are just, you know, perfect. They integrate so many like luxury and sport features that
it's just unreal how well they put it together. I mean, first thing I want to mention is the shift knob here. That kind of reminds me of the Viper GTS, but it kind of like resembles it a little bit, like this whole entire like chrome section here, and it just looks really, really good. And then I love how like they kind of like put all these chrome pieces around the AC dials and the speedometer, odometer, tachometer, and even the steering wheel is super, super nice. There's a lot of convenient options here, you know, to adjust the volume, to call. So another cool thing about the interior is the brown contrast that's going on with the white. This is an Auburn Napa leather, correct?
Yes.
And dude, it just looks so classy. I honestly feel like this is actually more luxury than sport, because the typical is usually black or red, but brown looks so classy. And the infotainment system and the screen, I think it's also really, really nice. I was playing around with it earlier. It's very, very fluent. It's very up to date. Michael actually kind of like tuned it or like hacked it or whatever, and he now has Apple CarPlay on this car.
Mazda can install it for you, but the prices that they charge is slightly outrageous. It's not too hard, it's just time consuming, and you have to be careful because you have to take out pretty much most of the dash. You just have to do minor wiring and then replace the hub. And then also when you do that mod, the USB chargers will actually charge your phone. That's a really nice feature to have, a charger in your car.
You would think that that's kind of like what the point of that is, but you know what?
Yeah.
I also love it how the exterior pearl white, I remember it was a really complicated name. I love how it extends into the interior and it kind of like transitions it very smoothly. Not many car manufacturers actually do this, and you don't get that with the Sport. You get this with the Grand Touring and the Club. So Michael, why did you get the RF? This is the retractable fastback. So what did you get this over this typical soft top?
Well, one thing is we live in Florida and it rains a lot. So my previous background is I've had a first generation Miata, and when it rained really hard, you'll hear the droplets on the soft top. So if it's a big rainy day, I don't want to hear raindrops. Point two is the silhouette of the car. To me, is more aesthetically pleasing than the soft top. Point three is the soft top will transfer the heat way quicker than the hard top. So, you know, I don't want to be in a hot car even when the top is up.
This is a naturally aspirated 2.0, correct? You're not buying this car for a crazy V8 sound or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get an exhaust clip. So sound not the best, but it's enough. So one thing that does not change, that did not change with the Miata, is the storage. I mean, it's not good at all. I mean, you're not taking this car, you're not taking your family to like North Carolina with this car. The opening for the trunk kind of reminds me of the Camaro, and that's horrible. But the space is, it's, you know, it'll suffice if you're a student, you know, your backpack, a couple of like sweaters, so you have stuff in there. There's some groceries too. Here you have this little cubby here that fits an iPhone, keys to the Mazda is always the same. It hasn't really changed. But then you have a storage compartment here. There you can put a little bit of like kind of like the registration. So now we are going to start the test drive. This car has been awarded the best driver's car countless amount of years. Yeah. Edmunds rates it 5 out of 5 as a driver's car. But the first thing we got to do is take the top off, because you can't drive a convertible Miata with the top up. It's a pretty fast process, actually.
Yeah, it's about like 13 seconds.
Another thing that I missed is that this car actually brings the adjustable like telescopic steering wheel, like that you can actually move it like towards you. That was never available before. If you were over 6 feet tall, it was always going to be a hassle. But I'm around 6'2", so honestly, the way you had it was fine for me. The clutch is uber smooth. It's like literally stepping in mud. Coming from a muscle car guy, this must have been horrible to get used to.
Yes. When I was picking up the car from the dealership, I stalled it about 4 times.
The bite point is like, it's really low to like the floor. It's like you literally just practice. That's already the bite point. It has its ups and downs. You know, once you get really used to it, you know, I guess it's not going to be as, you know, straining on your legs. All right, so let's do the first pull. Wow. Dude, she bounces.
Yeah.
She has a lot of torque and a lot of low end torque too. I noticed that.
One problem with the RF is you get loud spots at the corners of the roof.
One of the things that I actually found out is that the speakers are actually on the headrest part of the seats. So I guess you don't really have to worry about that because the noise is like really there. The pull that we just did right now, that was actually pretty, I mean, it feels quick. It's not really quick. Like in retrospect to another car passing by, it's not. But for you, it's just right.
It feels like you're really going a lot faster than what you are. Like the speed in this car is like very disoriented.
Part of the package that you got with this car, it came with a stiffened suspension.
Yes.
I kind of want to take it out on some, like, you know, curvy roads. We're not gonna go too fast because there's no point of, you know, endangering ourselves today. But just to get a feel for how the suspension handles, you know, under, you know, sub 30 miles per hour. But let's see if it generates that confidence, you know. Yeah, handles good, man.
Yeah.
A little bit of body roll, but I mean, I guess it needs to be lowered a little bit to fix that, and then maybe adjust the sway bars. Dude, this is a little autocross here. Oh my god. But yeah, at low speeds, it's pretty good. I mean, again, there's a little bit of like, there was a curbs there, some little cones that were there, so I didn't really want to like go too fast. The suspension is not as stiff as I thought it would be. But I guess that's really good because, you know, you don't want it to be ridiculously stiff because, you know, you daily drive this too.
Yes.
So you want to conserve like that comfort, like luxury feel. Yeah, dude, this road right here is beautiful. Yeah. All the trees, the climate, the sky, the car. This is the type of image that I think the Miata, you know, designers and I guess the original people that created this car, they were, you know, they were imagining you just having a car that you can enjoy on a day like this. How was it converting from a 450 plus horsepower car to a 181?
Gas savings is a major one.
26 miles per gallon, that's what it says. You can probably do a little bit more, a little less.
Yeah, around stop and go traffic, I'm getting around 25. But that's really stop and go. I drive 25 miles a day and it takes me an hour and a half. I spend around $30 to $40 a week on premium gas because this car does need premium gas. And my Mustang, I used to spend around $100 a week. So that's a nice savings on the wallet. Insurance is cheaper. I'm not gonna get in prices, but it's about like 15% cheaper than the Mustang. The main driving difference for Miata is you don't feel like you're in a car, you feel like you are the car. In the Mustang, it's like you have to tame the wild beast. So you have to be very mindful of your shifts and you just have to like be aware of what you're doing versus the Miata. It's like it becomes you. Yeah, you lose out on the power, but in the driving experience it makes up for it.
So what do you plan on doing to this car aftermarket wise?
Probably maybe like the lip kit, which Mazda does offer, but it's extremely expensive for what it is, and you can get the same thing on eBay for like 30% of the cost. Wheels, you know, get a little more grip on the lateral side, and just like a simple exhaust, something not too loud, but just enough to, you know, get some feedback going on.
Yeah, because you definitely hear it, but all the wind noise and stuff kind of like drones it out. You know, you have that problem of it's there but it's not. So is there like any launch control in this car?
No, you just do it yourself.
What is a good RPM to launch at?
I have no idea, man.
Oh shoot. Oh. Man, she jumps off the line.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Grip.
Good downshift.
Yeah, great downshift.
That was awesome. Let's do it again. So we are now concluding the ending of the driving experience, and I thought it was really, really cool. Actually, I was not expecting it to be this fun to drive and this much power. I mean, holistically, no, it doesn't have a lot of power, but for you, it's just right. You know, all of the little stuff from the interior to the motor upgrade to just the color, you know, the convertible, how easy it is to have fun in this car. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate, you know, you taking the time. You guys can check out the video of our first car review that I did. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed driving this car. And guys, don't forget to put on the notification so you don't miss any of my videos, my reviews. And guys, have a great day. Thanks.